From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
This is your prime time news bulletin on Joy News on Multi TV. Coming up in the bulletin, 69 passengers and 4 crew aboard Amtrak air flight from Tamale to Accra escaped death after mid-flight incident. Upper West Regional Minister tours flood-hit areas in the region and issues ultimatum for the relocation of residents in flood-prone areas. Contractor working on a Sherman Road at the heart of recent demonstration says errant drivers, theft of materials and delay in release of funds likely to affect timelines for completion. Government locks in petroleum agreements, it says, is the best deal ever since the discovery of crude oil in commercial quantities. In international news, main opposition party in Zimbabwe drops its challenge of recent election won by President Robert Mugabe. We also have sports and showbiz all coming up in the next 60 minutes.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
Passengers, 1 infant and 4 crew members aboard an Amtrak air flight from Tamale in the northern region to Accra got quite a scare after one of the engines on the plane caught fire mid-air. One of the passengers who reported the incident, Charles Nyaba, describes how the fire caused one of the propellers to cease functioning and forced the pilot to truncate the journey midway and return to the Tamale airport. He said panic-stricken passengers prayed and wailed while the pilot navigated the faulty airplane back to ground. Chief Commercial Officer of Amtrak Air, Nchibwe, in a release later explained there was a fire incident on one engine of Amtrak aircraft with registration number ECKUL en route from Tamale to Accra. The captain detected the fire 20 minutes into the flight and returned safely to land at the Tamale airport. There was no injury or casualty. The aircraft, manufactured in 2008, is operated for Amtrak by Swift Air of Spain. Speaking on the big story on Joy News earlier today, Mr. Nchibwe apologized to the passengers on board the aircraft for what they described as the shabby treatment they got from the airline's staff. He, however, discounted suggestions that the incident was due to poor maintenance.
Yeah, what I was saying is that we have officials, staff and representatives in Tamale. If they fail to provide the needed customer service to the passengers, we will review that and take the appropriate action to make sure that customers will be treated appropriately next time round. So yes, we apologize for any inconveniences passengers must have gone through, but we would have to review after we deal with the immediate issues. This aircraft is leased from Swift Air, a company registered and based in Spain. Okay, they operate under the European Airline Safety Agency standards. So there is no question at all about maintenance, culture, etc. The aircraft is a young aircraft, only 5 years old, and as I said, it is a wet lease, and so both the pilots and the engineers are all licensed by the Spanish Civil Aviation Authority with validation by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. This is an incident and it's being investigated, so let us not try to impugn any or make any suggestions that make people to feel that maybe there is poor maintenance, etc. There's none like that, and until the investigation is completed, we wouldn't know exactly what caused the incident.
The Ghana Civil Aviation, meanwhile, says it is investigating the incident, adding that it is too early to say what must have caused the fire. The Deputy Director General, Willie Ohing, assured the flying public air travel is still safe.
Well, when such incidents occur, we don't rush to make pronouncements. We first gather the facts. So immediately we were informed that this incident had happened. We dispatched our inspectors. So our inspectors have been on the ground. They are still gathering information. And as soon as we have details, we will definitely make it available. As regulators, ours is to ensure safety in the airspace. So first of all, any aircraft that comes into and out of Kotoka must be airworthy. So as they operate, we conduct surprise checks. Some of the checks are also routine checks. Ours is to ensure that before the aircraft is airborne, it is airworthy. Before it comes into our airspace, it is also airworthy. So basically, we do all the regular checks. But as he has indicated to you, this particular aircraft is a wet lease aircraft.
Right.
We don't have responsibility for ensuring that it's airworthy, except that when it comes into our airspace, we ensure that once it's in our airspace, it is airworthy.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Ephraim Avianso has given residents of Shakafatu in the Wa municipality up to the end of the year to relocate. The residents in the community built in a waterway were amongst the worst affected in Thursday's heavy downpour, which brought floods to the town. Dr. Avianso, who gave the directive when he toured the affected areas. Rafik Salam fathers report from Wa.
Thursday's heavy downpour, which lasted for about 3 hours, according to the officials of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, displaced over 500 people, destroying property worth millions of cedis. Dobile, Pagburi and Shakafatu were the areas badly hit by the floods. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Ephraim Avianso, in the company of the Regional NADMO Coordinator Alhaji Seidu Bawa and some officials of NADMO, visited the affected areas to empathize with victims. Dr. Avianso donated some relief items to affected residents of Dobile and conveyed government sympathies to them.
Even though some of the places are not supposed to be habitable, they have done. Sometimes they do this out of need. It's not they are forced to do it. They have no other option. So sympathize with them. At the same time, we want to advise them for their own good that there's no need to be doing this kind of thing to themselves. Most of the time, you'll be fine. There'll be dry season, 7 months, but one day, just 1 day, or it might take 5 years, 10 years, but 1 day alone, there will be such destruction that you can even lose life or lives. So I want to urge them to, since we have this opportunity, to encourage them as much as possible to stick to the advices of the technical people like him.
One of the affected victims, Yusuf Jebagodu, thanked NADMO and government for the gesture. The regional minister also visited Shakafatu, which was the worst hit area. More than 12 hours after the rain stopped, the residents say the water has receded pretty much, but still at their knee level. This is the second time that their homes have been flooded following a heavy downpour. The flooding is blamed on the construction of houses on waterways. The regional minister was emphatic in urging the residents to relocate. He further directed the Volta River Authority to immediately stop connecting electricity to houses in the area.
It's true that there's some gutter that is coming out here. That's true, but we'll deal with that at a different level. But the place, as you can see, as we stand, is a very deep valley. And it's a water course, naturally. It's not that just because of the gutter. Because the gutter was directed here, partly because they knew that this was a valley and water could collect. So we are going to deal with that upstream problem of the redirection of gutters to see whether our constructional work misdirected some water. But at the same time, we know this is not a habitable place. No permit has been given. I have my engineer here who has assured me that no permits have been given. So they are illegally occupying this place. Somebody has sold them the land, as I say, but it's an illegal place. It's not a good place to stay. And we will not allow people to die simply because they just want any living place to be in.
But last year, around this very time,
this very incident occurred there, and the Honorable Alaji Amin Sulemana, who was then the regional minister, came and admonished them, talked to them a lot, educated them, and then gave out a lot of relief to them. And then, in fact, we thought by this time they should have relocated. But you can see for yourself that they look very adamant to the whole thing, and they are still staying. You could even see the way the women were reacting. You know, but fortunately, the works superintendent of the municipal assembly is here with us. We have just cross-checked, and it looks like they are staying here illegally.
Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
Togome in the Northern District of the Volta region has been in the news in recent times after one of the Supreme Court justices on the panel for the election petition hearing brought to the fore the story of a pregnant lady who lost her life because a gate man was not at post. The residents of the community, however, say their troubles don't end there. Joy News' Osei Jemfi, who's been to the community, reports the residents have for years had to grapple with poor sanitation coupled with no running water for a year and a half, which make them vulnerable to diseases.
The Togome residents were settled here some 35 years ago during the construction of the dam. Most of the buildings constructed by the Volta River Authority to house them at the time are almost in ruins. They say their plight is worsened each time the dam is spilled. The effects of the spillage can be seen in the extent of erosion here. The gullies left behind also pose a threat to children in the community.
Normally, these areas are all hilly areas, but because of the spilling of the dam, causes all these places to be flat like this.
Swimming pool grant is
Without potable water, the residents say they have to rely on the Volta River for cooking and other household chores. It may not be as clean as it used to be some time ago, but despite warnings that they should not drink the water, they say they have no choice.
Yes. Neshijala kplo dicho ekpoji fio abakedeto gake yeko kumile nunu onunyanya yeko yo anabe nemini la mi akpodolo le choma gake sareske pipe me mi botala yeko mile nunu.
Apart from the water, toilet facilities in the area are also in a deplorable state. There are just about 7 toilet facilities serving about 300,000 members of this community. Out of the 7, there are only 3 of them currently functioning.
You could see that some of them are dilapidated and even trying to collapse. So people go to the nearby bushes to defecate.
The poor sanitary conditions in the area has resulted in a high number of cases of cholera, diarrhea and skin diseases recorded at the health center. For the people of Togome, their current situation is a source of immense grief, considering this is what they get for ceding their land for the construction of the Kwon power plant, one of the country's most valuable assets. Reporting for Joy News, Osei Jemfi.
Our progress of work on the main road in the Shama municipality at the heart of a recent blockade appears to be gradually stalling. While some residents appear unimpressed with the pace, the municipal assembly can't also seem to agree with the engineers how much progress has been made. The contractor, meanwhile, is blaming the situation on the errant motorists and theft of their materials and delays in the release of funds. Jonathan Asare has the rest of the story.
Work resumed a few months ago following a massive protest by some commercial drivers and youth of the town who said they could no longer bear the poor nature of the road. The contractor moved in almost immediately and work started in earnest. Months later, however, some residents say they are not sure the contractor can meet the end of the year deadline at the current pace.
The way they are doing the work, they're supposed to do the work quickly. But getting to 4 o'clock, they just close. They will start 10 o'clock. And now they don't start work now. But getting to 4 o'clock, they close. So we are appealing to them. Therefore, do the right, fast.
The engineer on site confirms the pace of work has slowed considerably and says he's also not so optimistic about completing the work in time.
My director is still chasing the certificate that we have sent to the finance. Actually, we did the asphalt in Tema. At least we even expect some of the certificates we made at Tema to be paid so that we can go on with the Ashama work as well.
He estimates the work is a little over 10% complete.
Yeah, for the percentage work done, it's almost 12%. Almost 12% of the entire work.
The urban roads engineer, however, believes a bit more work has been done.
Up to 20% now. From the way things are going, if he continues with this, we hope to see so much progress.
The site engineer, however, explains why the deadline is threatened.
One is the fund, and then secretary for the traffic control in Ashama. We have been trying to put the traffic control in the safest way, but some other drivers, the stubborn ones also, they find it difficult to understand it. When we put road signs, we put concrete blocks to close the road. We come in the morning and we see they are trying to push the road signs and other things somewhere, and then they'll be using the road. And most especially the motorcyclists also.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the assignment branch of the GPRTU said he is unaware of the contractor's complaints. He explains drivers may not belong to the union.
The report is not known to us officially, but advice I will give to the drivers that they should observe road signs. Maybe somebody from somewhere, he don't even know the road. Before he gets to a point, there's road is blocked, no diversion or whatever. So he will be forced to. And then finally, they will accuse GPRTU. But it's not GPRTU who is applying the route.
Though it may be slow, work on the project is progressing. It remains to be seen, however, which of the two stakeholders will be proven right with regards to when the road will be completed.
Stay tuned, there's more news coming up. Civil society group, the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD, is appealing to all Ghanaians to uphold the country's constitution by accepting the results of the Supreme Court ruling on August 29. The group believes the way Ghanaians accept the verdict will be a true test of the fledgling democracy and how we as a people embrace democracy.
The first achievement that we've chalked in this post-election presidential results dispute is the fact that the parties chose to use the laid down constitutional process. I think the judgment day on 29th is also another important milestone in this process. The outcomes of that process, of the judgment and the way we comport ourselves will in a long way contribute to deepening our democracy, strengthen our institutions.
Head of Research and Programs at the Center, Dr. Franklin Odru, says the fact that the petitioners went to court to seek redress is indicative of the fact that the country's democracy has matured.
There will be winners and there will be losers. But at the end of the day, it's the nation that wins. I think all of us, the parties to the dispute, the citizens, all of us should comport ourselves in a way that will deepen our democracy, that will strengthen the peace and the stability that we have in this country. And we all celebrate that kind of process that we have embarked on the last 20 years.
He also indicated that the period after the court ruling should be a moment of deep reflection as to how best to further consolidate the democracy.
Democracy is a growing thing. There's never a perfect democracy. There's never a perfect institution, whether electoral commission or the police or whatever governance institutions. We learn every day. We learn from the past. We learn from our mistakes and we build upon. You will recall that what we did in 92 is quite different from what we did in 96 in terms of electoral process, and quite different from what we did in 2000 and different from what we do in 2004. I'm certain that even if we hadn't gone through this dispute, what we're going to do in 2016 would have been different from what we did in 2012. And therefore, electoral reforms or institutional reform is an everyday thing. Even in the most advanced democratic societies, they still reform their institutions all the time when something goes wrong.
Dr. Drew also tasked the security agencies to be alert to ensure all persons behave within the confines of the law before and after the court's ruling.
Authorities at the University of Ghana say prospective applicants should not despair of a report. Admissions are going to be a lot more competitive this year. The encouragement comes after the authorities there contradicted government's claims that there were arrangements for the university to increase intake because of the unusually high number of school leavers who will be seeking places in tertiary institutions in the impending academic year. Director of Public Affairs at the University of Ghana, Legon, explains though there may not be additional infrastructure to accommodate more students, qualified applicants who fully comply with admission procedures stand a good chance of making it.
The race for the admission into the various tertiary institutions in the 2013-2014 academic year is expected to be keener this year, as two streams from the senior high school will be competing for the limited number of openings. Though government had indicated that the tertiary institutions are preparing to increase their enrollment to accommodate the over 400,000 prospective entrants, the University of Ghana says it has made no such arrangement. Its Public Affairs Director, however, says the university could accommodate a few more than usual, as its openings are never exhausted after each admission period.
With these two batches, what I think is going to happen is that so far we have, say, about 49,000 people who have applied. That doesn't mean they would all be successful. They may meet some criteria, they may not meet. But what it looks like it may happen is that even though we have this trend that goes back to 5, 6, 7 years of not many people enrolling, it looks like the enrollment figure may go up. So then, if last year we had 53% enrolling, those we offered admission to, and this year it may very well be that instead of getting 53% enrolling, we may get many more than that.
She advises applicants to be smart in choosing the subjects they would want to read at the university.
A much preferred program, such as medical school, you can offer admissions to X number of people and you get only 80% taking up the offer. And people are saying medical or suicide. But this is something, it's the same with Bachelor of Science in Administration. I'm not sure whether I have those figures here, but you wouldn't believe that even with a BSc, you get some people not even registering. The percentage registered for the 2012-2013 academic year for Bachelor of Science in Admin was under 80%. So there are a number of factors why somebody will not take up the admission that you've offered them.
Government, meanwhile, is urging the school leavers to consider other tertiary institutions, including the teacher training colleges and polytechnics, which often tend to bear much less admission pressure. Emmanuel Ante, Joy News, Accra.
Now, many children die from basic ailments due to poverty and lack of access to health care, one of the major challenges the National Health Insurance Scheme seeks to address. Although the scheme is meant to provide affordable health care, not many can afford to subscribe. Telecoms firm Tigo, as part of its corporate social responsibility, has therefore decided to take up the subscription cost for 10,000 children.
Membership in the National Health Insurance Scheme is supposed to be mandatory for all Ghanaians and covers the direct cost of healthcare services and medicines for most common diseases in Ghana. But how many Ghanaians, especially children, are registered? Deprived parents who can't afford to subscribe their children onto the health scheme sometimes lose them in cases of severe illnesses. For underprivileged children to have free access to health care, Tigo has given the opportunity for 10,000 of them to be registered. The registration took place at Osukinkawe, a suburb of Accra. Some parents spoke to Joy News.
Wanda Tigo be ashiwa denche. Kangmene health insurance na make up how free. Ni won fe won how be can be eja keke obet insurance no te hospital e na wa ni me come ye ni amenye ska na make ba fe ekole health insurance na eko. Shingmene gbine no Tigo be eba how free.
Emmanuel Bandankwa, operations manager, National Health Insurance Scheme, commended Tigo for partnering with the scheme to register the children to help reduce child mortality.
Tigo has done well, and we expect other companies to take clue from what Tigo has done, giving out to society what they have taken from the society, and then also remembering that the health of these children is dear to their heart. And so what I would say is that as Tigo has set the pace, we expect other communities, other companies to follow suit.
Media and Public Relations Manager at Tigo, Kwabna Bokman, said the initiative is to give children access to free health care in the community, as well as mark the celebration of the Homo Festival in the community.
The focus of our CSR, our corporate social responsibility, is focused on children and mothers and women, children and mothers. And we're thinking that, when dealing with children, there are two key things, education and health. And without a sound mind, the kids cannot take care of the educational opportunities that you give them. So we thought it's wise that we start from health.
Tigo plans to extend the initiative to other parts of the country for the benefit of children there.
Good evening and welcome to the Business Report. My name is Asare. In our first story, government says it expects to earn nearly 80% of future revenues that will accrue in South Deepwater Tunnel Block, which is currently under exploration. The Ghana National Petroleum Corporation is hoping to use the promising field to turn itself into a major player in the sector and has already spent $30 million on preparatory work there.
The South Deepwater Tunnel Block has been a subject of negotiation among Government of Ghana, AGM Petroleum Ghana Limited, and GNPC Exploration and Production Company Limited. According to government, the companies involved in the joint venture have demonstrated capacity to carry out exploration and production in the event that the prospects yield crude oil in commercial quantities. Discoveries have been made there by Tallow Oil Company and two other oil companies. Deputy Information Minister Felix Kwachofosu says, unlike in previous transactions, government is happy with the agreement.
Significant thing about the agreement that was approved by Cabinet yesterday are the relatively superior fiscal and financial terms. I'm happy to indicate that this time round, the overall accrual to government and the people of Ghana from this particular transaction would be 79%. And this is much, much higher than previous accruals that we've had in some of the discoveries that have been made. Also, the involvement of the Ghana National Petroleum Exploration and Production Company Limited, otherwise called the SPLOCO, would ensure that for the first time, a Ghanaian entity is involved in the production of oil. There is going to be royalty on the oil that is produced of 10%. Beyond that, there will be 5% royalty paid on domestic gas and 10% royalty paid on export gas. Now, GNPC has a carried interest of 10% and a participating interest of 15%. After this, it is expected that corporate income tax payments would amount to 35%. And when you put all these together, you have a situation where the overall accrual to Ghana would amount to 79%, which, as I indicated, is the highest ever accrual that this nation has got. Government is highly gratified that, as a people, we are getting what is due us with the exploration of our oil resources.
Felix Kwachefosu says it is the hope of government that this would pave the way for more of such favorable terms in future agreements in the exploration of the country's oil reserves.
Finance houses, savings and loans companies, as well as rural banks would soon be required to increase their capital by 100%. The central bank yesterday announced this as part of efforts to promote a sound financial sector. Whilst non-bank financial institutions will need a minimum of 15 million cedis, rural banks would require 300,000 cedis. New commercial banks would also need 120 million cedis. Some analysts have argued that these reviews were long overdue, but the new president of the Association of Bankers, Simon Dono, disagrees, explaining that such reviews must be done in tandem with the level of economic activity in the country. The institutions have until the end of the year to comply with the new minimum capital requirements. By December next year, depositors will be fully assured of adequate protection for their funds and investments in the event that their banks go bust. The Deposit Insurance Agency, the brainchild of the Bank of Ghana, is expected to have become operational by then. The agency's working will ensure that there is an effective depositors insurance scheme in place at all banks and financial houses. The first Deputy Governor, Millicent Na, announced this at the business launching of the Ghana Association of Bankers. The Bank of Ghana would also soon table before Parliament for approval a manual which is expected to properly guide and regulate measures and acquisitions in the country. Now, the manual would also spell out proper corporate governance structures for all banks in the country. Employment and Labour Relations Minister Ni Amashite says his outfit is set to establish a labour market information system to provide relevant data on unemployment situation in Ghana. Now, according to him, the system will aid development planning and provide employment opportunities to job seekers. He disclosed this at the launch of the express maintenance service of Toyota Ghana Company Limited in Tema.
Express maintenance service at the Tema branch of Toyota Ghana is to provide clients with quality servicing of their vehicles using Toyota Production System concept. The service forms part of a Customer Service Workshop Management Advanced program the company introduced globally in 2001.
The Toyota Production System is applied to the vehicle maintenance service. Express maintenance thus provide the high-quality service within 1 hour to the customers by using high-quality, efficient maintenance base and guarantees the delivery time. For us at Toyota, one of our principles is putting the customer first, and express maintenance service is yet another step toward achieving total customer satisfaction.
The maintenance service available for Toyota lineup saloon cars, including SUVs like RAV4, Land Cruisers and Prado, reduces periodic servicing and is done within the shortest possible time.
This service ensures that the customer, after coming in with his vehicle, is able to walk out with it in 30 minutes, as against the usual 2 hours that he would normally have spent waiting. The vehicle will go through a thorough inspection of lights, brakes and tires. All safety aspects of the vehicle are checked before he leaves. There is the normal oil change, filter change, and as well as all replaceable parts.
Minister of Employment and Labour Relations Niama Ashite in his address commended Toyota Ghana for the initiative and urged them to help solve the unemployment challenge by absorbing more young graduates.
The Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations has started work on establishing a labour market information system in order to provide relevant information, data on the unemployment and employment situation in our country. It will also, this will also serve to link job providers to job seekers. With more accurate data on the rate of unemployment, we believe that there will be better opportunities for development planning and forecasting as far as the provision of employment is concerned. The government We would also like to appeal to reputable companies such as Toyota to provide opportunities for more young graduates from our universities, polytechnics, and technical institutes.
Toyota Ghana Company Limited, the only distributor to have successfully implemented the express maintenance service in sub-Saharan Africa, operates in both Accra and Kumasi. The company is hopeful of introducing the service to centers across the country.
Okay. And that's all for business. My name is Asare.
That's it for the bulletin. Before we go a quick run through our top stories, 69 passengers and 4 crew aboard Amtrak air flight from Tamale to Accra escaped death after mid-flight incident. Upper West Regional Minister tours flood-hit areas in the region and issues ultimatum for the relocation of residents in flood-prone areas. Contractor working on Ashaman Road at the heart of recent demonstration says errant drivers, theft of materials and delay in release of funds likely to affect timelines for completion. The government locks in petroleum agreements, it says, is the best deal ever since the discovery of crude oil in commercial quantities in Ghana. And an international news, main opposition party in Zimbabwe drops its challenge of recent election won by incumbent President Robert Mugabe. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Josuelai. Have a great weekend.